last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. For a while he stood silent, then he finally said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall we are Ukes. On the other side of the wall live the Zooks." Then my grandfather said, "It's high time that you knew of the terrible, horrible things that Zooks do. On every Zook house and in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down. But we Ukes, as you know, when we breakfast or sup, spread our bread," Grandpa said, "with the butter side up. That's the right and honest way." Grandpa gritted his teeth. "So you can't trust a Zook who spreads bread underneath. Every Zook must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why in my youth I made watching my goal, watching Zooks for the Zooks border watching patrol."
Zooks, Zooks, baby, we're Zooks, Zooks, baby. We love bread and butter, but we're upside down, baby. We're upside down, Zook, baby. Zooks, Zooks. No, we're busted. We butter upside down.
We're busted, not up.
We're busted.
No,
We love our butter upside down.
we're busted.
Upside down.
Zooks, Zooks, baby, we're Zooks, Zooks, baby. We love bread and butter, but we're upside down, baby. We're upside down, Zook, baby. Zooks, Zooks.
No,
We're busted.
No.
We butter upside down.
we're busted,
Nah.
Zook, baby.
We're busted. We butter upside down.
No, we're busted. No, we butter upside down.
We're
We're
busted.
busted.
Not up. No.
We're busted, not up. In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I could give him a twitch with my tufted, prickly snickberry switch. For a while, that worked fine. All the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook by the name of Vanich snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief lookaroo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled, he said, "You're not to blame, and those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress you up right in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build me some sort of triple sling jigger. With my triple sling jigger, I felt much, much bigger. I marched to the wall with great vim and vigor, ran up to Vanich with my hand on the trigger. "I'll have no more nonsense," I said with a frown, "from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Vanich looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled as he said, looking frightfully mean, "You may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on a trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock, snatch 'em, we'll flip 'em right back just as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll talk no more gup from you Ukes who eat bread with the butter side up." I have failed, sir, I sobbed as I made my report to the chief yuckaroo in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed. That was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some newfangled kind of gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping with zinger one. My bright boys are thinking they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick, and we'll send you right back. They thought up a great one, they certainly did. They thought up a gun called the Kickadoo powder, ants' eggs and bees' legs, and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a really smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Then Daniel, the Kickadoo Spaniel, and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high, while everyone cheered. Their cheers filled the sky. Fight, fight for the butter side up, do or die.
We are Ukes. We live in the land of Uke. We're Ukes. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. But never on the upside down. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. All on the downside up. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. We live in the land of Uke. We are Ukes. 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 We live in the land of Uke. We're Ukes. We are Ukes. We are Ukes. We live in the land of Uke. We're Ukes. We are Ukes. We are Ukes.
We didn't do, and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Vanich was there too, and he said, the old pig, the boys in the back room invented this rig called the egg-nozzled elephant-toted boom bits. It shoots high explosives, sour cherry stone pits, and will put your dumb kickadoo poo kid on the fritz. Poor Daniel and I were scared out of our wits. Once more, by Vanich, I was bested and beat. Once again I leapt home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged, and my spirits were low as I thought they ever could go, when I heard a boom-ba and a diddle-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief yuckaroo had sent them to meet me, along with the right side-up song girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, believe in thy butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. "My boy," smiled the chief yuckaroo, "we just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready. Get in it. The big war is coming. You're going to begin it. And what's more, this time you are certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over the wall and clobber those butter-down zooks, one and all." Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called the utterly sputter, and I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and steered toward the land of upside-down butter. This machine was so modern, so frightfully new, no one knew exactly quite what it would do. But it had several faucets, that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the zooks as I and gum up that upside down butter they chew. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle us zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." Banich had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine, and I'm here to say that if you ukes can goo zooks, you better forget it, 'cause zooks can goo ukes." I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed, and I saw just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all of the girls of the butter-up band. The chief drum majorette, Ms. Yuki and Sue, said, "That's a pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief Yukaroo has been looking for you." I raced to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fear," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My backroom boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It's filled with a mysterious moo lacka moo and can blow all those zooks clear selamagoo. They've invented the big boy boomeroo. Just run to the wall like a nice little man. Drop this bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I've ordered all ukes to stay safe underground while the bitsy big boy boomeroo is around." As I raced to the wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last uke in our land was obeying our chief Yukaroo's grim command. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down a hole for their country and right side up butter. That's when grandfather found me. He grabbed me. He said, "You should be down that hole, and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for better somehow. You will see me make history right here and right now." And at that very instant, we heard a clup of feet on the wall, and old Van Inch clopped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another big boy boomeroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up you to small smithereens." "Grandpa," I shouted, "be careful, oh gee. Who's going to drop it? Will you or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. "We will see. We will see."